Listen up. Most guitarists out there, you're chasing ghosts. You hear Slash's iconic thick neck pickup solo tone on Appetite for Destruction, and immediately what happens? You pull out the credit card. You're completely convinced you need some $3,000 hand-wired Marshall amplifier cranked to the absolute threshold of pain. Well, I've been on the bench for decades, and I'm going to tell you right now, you are dead wrong. That tone, it doesn't actually come from the amp. It comes from a fundamental law of hardware physics hiding in plain sight right inside your guitar's tone circuit. So today, in this explainer, we're completely bypassing the generic marketing fluff. Your tone is dead right now because, frankly, you don't understand the math hiding under your volume knobs. Let's fix that, shall we?
If you crack open the control cavity of almost any modern guitar right off the rack, what do you actually see in there? Usually, it's a cheap 10-cent ceramic disc capacitor wired straight to the tone pot. And when you roll that knob back, you aren't getting some smooth, creamy lead tone, right? You're getting this unusable frequency masking. It literally sounds like somebody threw a heavy, wet blanket over your speaker cabinet. Now compare that exact same setup to a vintage circuit path using a precise, high-grade 47 nanofarad paper and oil capacitor. I mean, it's night and day. We're talking about moving from a choked-out, muddy red zone straight into pure, articulate amber clarity. And look, this isn't some vintage voodoo or snake oil. It's a highly measurable difference in how voltages and frequencies actually interact with your grounding.
So let's deconstruct this whole woman tone myth everyone talks about. You know the drill. You've been told to just switch the neck pickup, roll your standard tone pot all the way down to 0, and boom, magic happens, right? Wrong. With a standard ceramic capacitor, what you actually get is a massive, totally useless frequency collision sitting right in the 400 Hz zone. I call it the mud zone. That cheap capacitor is basically acting like a blunt instrument. It just masks all the crucial frequencies your ear actually wants to hear. It completely destroys your vocal transient articulation. You know, the attack, the bite, the exact thing that makes an electric guitar cut through a dense mix. Instead of a singing lead, you just get this muffled, indistinct mess. Let's look at the hard data. When we do a bench analysis of a standard Gibson Humbucker 490, we can see exactly what happens when capacitance is added into the circuit. Now, without any added capacitance, the resonant peak sits way up around 3.3 kilohertz. But as we start introducing specific capacitor values, we actually physically shift that resonant peak. See, we aren't just turning down the treble here, we are literally dragging that peak frequency down. Add enough capacitance, like a 4.7 nanofarad cap, and you drop that peak from those piercing high mids all the way down into the thick, punchy 1.2 to 3 kilohertz throat zone. The capacitor is acting directly as a low-pass filter, shifting that resonant bump. And hey, the data simply does not lie.
Okay, we need to establish some absolute authority here. Your passive guitar electronics are not governed by magic, they're not governed by tone woods, and they certainly aren't governed by the phase of the moon. Forensically speaking, your guitar pickup is an RLC low-pass filter. You've got a resistor, you've got an inductor, which is just the pickup coil itself, and you have a capacitor. Because it's an RLC circuit, your pickups literally have a built-in treble cutoff point that is entirely 100% dictated by the amount of predicted capacitance in the circuit. When you turn that tone knob, you aren't doing magic, you are directly manipulating an industrial hardware physics equation. So let's dig into capacitive impedance, or ZC for short. The math dictates that when the frequency goes to 0, ZC goes to infinity. But here is the crucial part. As the frequency increases towards infinity, ZC drops to 0. So what does that actually mean for your tone? Well, it means that at higher frequencies, the lumped interwinding capacitance in your circuit increasingly shunts or bleeds your signal straight to ground. Basically, the higher the note, the faster it finds the exit. You aren't just rolling off the highs, you're opening a trap door that drops your high-frequency AC signal right into the ground plane before it ever even reaches your output jack. Now, check this out. The formula for resonant frequency, F sub 0, this is the literal blueprint of your guitar's voice. The response rolls off at exactly minus 12 decibels per octave above the cutoff frequency. But right at the resonant frequency, any tones or harmonics are actually amplified. So by knowing exactly where F sub 0 sits, along with the relative amplitude of that peak, you possess undeniable insight into the pickup's transfer characteristics. If your tone sucks, well, it's because this equation is out of balance. We use this exact math on the bench every single day to see precisely where a pickup is going to push the hardest before it chokes out. And the engineering reality of voltage storage is governed by this capacitance equation right here. C equals K times epsilon 0 times A divided by D.
Look, this isn't just theory. By altering the capacitor value in your tone circuit, you are fundamentally changing the C in this equation. You are altering the voltage storage capacity and the high-frequency bleed of the entire instrument. When you swap out a cheap ceramic for specifically spec'd film or paper and oil cap, you aren't just modding for the sake of it. You are changing the physical parameters of how your guitar interacts with its own electrical signal. So, you might be wondering, what's the ultimate goal of all this math? It's precision resonant control. When you utilize the specific mechanics of a 47 nanofarad capacitor, you create a precision low-pass filter. You grab all that harsh, ear-piercing treble sitting above 4 kilohertz, which frankly I call the devil zone, and you violently shunt it to ground. But instead of just muffling your sound, that specific capacitance value creates a sharp, resonant bump exactly where you want it, right in the 2 kilohertz to 3 kilohertz throat zone. You cut the ice pick highs, sure, but you perfectly preserve that clean, vocal transient articulation. And guys, that is exactly how a guitar cuts through a heavy mix without tearing the audience's heads off. But hey, don't just take my word for it. Listen to Ace Bergman/his actual guitar tech. He states right on the record, those pickups you buy in the store are exactly the same as the ones I put in Slash's guitars. They come in the same packaging, everything. They are literally standard Seymour Duncan Alnico 2 Pros. There are no secret wines, there's no custom shop magic going on here. The true tonal secret isn't in some boutique pickup. It actually lies in the massive capacitance of Slash's incredibly long stage cables, combined with the exact values in his internal tone circuit. It's just hardware physics. The gear is completely standard. The application of capacitance is where the tone is truly born. This reality is heavily reinforced by independent bench tech data too. Guitar electronics expert Intiga breaks it down perfectly for us. See, there's a critical difference between merely damping the Q factor, which is exactly what happens when you just turn down your volume knob and get that muffled, dead high end, and deliberately using capacitance to lower the resonant frequency. As Intiga points out, lowering that peak frequency with the right capacitor gives you that nasal, vocal hunk tone. It is a deliberate, physical shift of the EQ curve. It's not just a blanket dampening of your signal. 47. That is the exact value you need to drill into your head right now. 47 nanofarads, or 0.047 microfarads. This specific value, it's the mechanical key to the whole operation. It doesn't just grab the extreme treble frequencies, it reaches down and actually grabs some of the upper mids too, pulling the entire physical resonant shift right into the sweet spot. It's not too dark like a 0.1, and it's not too thin like a 0.022. No, 47 nanofarads is the precise engineering requirement to achieve that incredibly thick, singing sustain on a neck humbucker.
2.5. That is your exact target frequency in kilohertz. When you roll that tone knob back with a 47 nanofarad cap installed, your shifted resonant bump must sit right around 2.5 kilohertz. Why? Because this is where the human ear is highly, highly sensitive. If that bump sits at 4 kilohertz, it's piercing. If it's down at 1 kilohertz, it's just mud. But right at 2.5 kilohertz, that's where you deliver that coveted, thick throat cut. It's warm, it's highly present, and it's aggressive without ever being harsh. Honestly, it's the exact frequency pocket where legendary rock tones live. 0. That is the exact cost in dollars required to get this level of transient articulation from an expensive boutique amplifier. Why? Because the amp literally can't do it. The amplifier can only amplify what the guitar sends it. Guys, if you send it a choked, masking-heavy signal from a 50-cent ceramic cap, a $3,000 amp is just going to give you louder mud. And 0 is also the exact amount of voltage sag you have to worry about if you actually set your guitar's passive RLC circuit up correctly in the first place. You preserve the articulation at the source using proper capacitor physics long before that signal ever hits the very first tube in your amp.
So what's the ultimate takeaway from this explainer? Simple. Stop chasing gear. Stop throwing thousands and thousands of hard-earned dollars at boutique pedals and hand-wired amps, just hoping to find some magic bullet for your tone. I'm telling you, the magic doesn't exist. It's just math, physics, and proper component values. If you want to stop getting ripped off by corporate marketing fluff and actually understand the raw, data-backed engineering breakdowns of your equipment, then you need to subscribe to the Tone Manual. We don't do hype here, we do the math. So before you go and drop $3,000 on a new amplifier, ask yourself, what else in your rig is just sitting there, waiting for a 50-cent fix? I'll see you on the bench.